Hi again, 1-2M. Welcome to English for week 2 or Wednesday. So let's have a look at what you need to grab. Alrighty, so you're going to need sheet 8, which we used yesterday. You'll need sheet 9, sheet 10, a writing book with red and blue lines, glue, a pencil, an eraser, and then today you're also going to need to go and grab a purple pencil and a green pencil. If you don't have either of those colours, don't stress too much. Just go and grab 2 other colours that are similar. You just need to have 2 colours that are different. Okay, pause the video, go and grab those things, and then come back when you're ready. Okay, so a reminder, you're going to be using your whole body listing for your lesson today. We're going to revisit the Paper Bag Princess. So you read this book last week and again this week. And today we're going to be focusing on nouns. Do you remember Naomi Noun? She loves to go around and name everything. So a noun is a person, place, or thing. Well done. So there are different categories of nouns. So today we're going to learn about common and proper nouns. Woohoo! So here's a little picture here to jog your memory about what a noun is. So here's some examples: cat, ball, April, shoe, jam. So the name of a person, a place, an animal, or a thing. Okay, to be successful today, you are going to identify different types of nouns in a story. So we're going to be looking at, what were the 2 called? Common and proper nouns. You're going to write down the nouns that you can find, and then you're going to write 2 sentences using an expanded noun group. If you've forgotten what that means, don't worry, I'm going to recap the noun groups later in the lesson. Okay, so now we're going to watch a lovely video on different types of nouns.
Types of nouns. You have learnt that nouns are words we use to represent people, places, ideas and things. In this video, you are going to learn about the way we can categorize different types of nouns. There are 2 major categories of nouns, common and proper. Common can also mean everyday, so you can think of these nouns as the ones we use all the time to name non-specific people, places, ideas or things. For example, mother, city, bravery, or building. A common noun is only written with a capital letter if it begins a sentence. Proper nouns name a specific or a particular person, place, or thing. These nouns are always written with a capital letter. For example, Susan Brown is the name of a particular person. Brisbane is the name of a particular place. Parliament House is the name of a particular building. Think of your name. Do you always write the beginning letter of your name with a capital letter? You should, because it is a proper noun. It names a particular person, you. Common nouns can also be categorized as concrete or abstract. In the list above, the common nouns mother, city and building are all concrete nouns. But the common noun bravery is abstract. What do you think the difference between concrete nouns and abstract nouns might be? Let's have a look. Concrete can also mean solid, so think of concrete nouns as something you can see, touch, smell, hear or taste. These nouns name anything that can be experienced with our 5 senses. Ball, sunlight, car and tree are all examples of concrete nouns. Abstract is the opposite of concrete. These are common nouns you can't see, touch, smell, hear or taste. For example, bravery is an abstract noun. You can have bravery, but you can't see it the way you can see a chair or a pencil. It is an idea. Bravery, freedom, surprise, and love are all examples of abstract nouns.
Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed that wonderful video. Okay, so just to quickly recap, she spoke about some different types of nouns. So she looked at the common nouns and concrete nouns, which are quite similar. So common nouns are just like concrete nouns in the way that you can physically touch them. So these are some examples. Vegetable, delicious. Animal, clothes, chocolate. So they are all things that you can physically touch. Concrete nouns you can experience with your five senses, so you can see them with your eyes, hear them with your ears, smell them with your nose, taste them with your tongue, and feel them with your hands. So some things like bottles, car, hammer, magnet. These are all concrete nouns. And we are going to be focusing today on common nouns and proper nouns. So let's recap the proper nouns. They are kind of easy to see because they all start with what? What kind of letter is this here? Is it a capital letter? Well done if you got that. So cities like Paris get a capital letter because they're naming a specific place. The Eiffel Tower gets capital letters, so it's a proper noun. Alrighty, so we are going to go on a bit of a hunt and look for some common nouns. So you're going to need to go and get your green pencil. So, common nouns name non-specific people, places, ideas, or things. So they're similar to concrete nouns. So non-specific means that something's lacking some details, or it's lacking a description. So I might say to you, I'm going to give you some money. You might get really excited because I wasn't specific about the amount I was going to give you. Did you know how much I was going to give you? Did I tell you, or was it non-specific? It was non-specific. So, for example, if you met someone new and they said they lived in a city. City, is that a common noun or a proper noun? Do you know which city they live in? It could be any of these cities. So, city is a common noun, whereas if they told you that they lived in London, then that's a proper noun. It's a specific place. You know exactly where they live. Okay, so let's grab our green pencil. We are going to look through sheet 8 and circle some common nouns. So let's have a look at how the author represented Princess Elizabeth. Beautiful. Is that something that you can touch? No. Happy? So that would be abstract as well. It's an abstract noun. Smiling. So what else is in? What's in here that you can see? Young. Wears a crown and expensive clothes. Lives in a castle. I can see 3 there. Do you want to see if you can find those and circle them? What's something in there that you can touch? So I've circled crown. If you haven't circled that, circle it now. So wears a crown and expensive clothes. What's the other common noun there? Clothes. Well done. Okay, what else? We've got lives in a castle. What's the thing there that you could physically touch? Castle, well done. Okay, let's go down to her qualities. So these look like they're going to be abstract. Brave, kind, friendly, clever. Okay. So loves Prince Ronald, wants to marry Prince Ronald, thinks kind thoughts, wants to help the prince, thinks her tricks are clever. See if you can find those common nouns there. I can see one pretty clear one. Non-specific. Who's the non-specific person they're talking about here? Prince. So circle that one. Okay, let's keep going. Stares lovingly at Prince Ronald. Tricks the dragon. Saves the prince from the dragon. Ooh, okay, there's a few more there. Have a go. Pause the video if you want to and have a think about it. Otherwise, I'm going to keep circling. So if I miss a couple, that's okay as well. Tricks the dragon. saves the prince from the dragon. So dragon and prince are both common. Alrighty, let's keep going on this side. So the alternative description of Elizabeth was ugly, miserable, scowling, frowning. Keep going there. Cowardly, mean-hearted, nasty, wicked, lonely, bossy. Does not love the prince. Ooh, there's another one. Does not want to marry Prince Ronald. Thinks evil thoughts. Does not want to help the prince. Plans mean tricks. Okay, can you see a couple more in here? There's a few more things here. Oh, there's something new here that you could touch. Frowns at the prince. Bosses people around. Tries to take Prince Ronald's tennis racket. What are some common nouns there? Some non-specific people, places, ideas, or things. Okay, so I'll just circle. I've got prince, people, racket. Okay, so if this is a bit tricky, that's okay because this is new to us. Alright, now we're going to swap. We're going to put down the green pencil and we're going to take our purple pencil. This should be a lot easier. We are going to circle, oh whoops, I've written the wrong thing. We're not going to circle common nouns, we're going to circle proper nouns. Okay, I might just quickly change that. Okay, so we're back on. Alrighty, so we're going to circle some proper nouns. So proper nouns are a little bit easier to find because they've got what letter at the beginning? What kind of letter? A capital letter. Well done. So let's have a look here. How has the author represented Princess Elizabeth? Can you see a proper noun there? Circle it with your purple pencil. What's the, where's, oh, there it is, Princess Elizabeth. So give that a circle. Okay, I'm going to scan down the page quickly and look for some capital letters. And you see some. What do you need to circle here? Prince Ronald. Okay, I'd like you to pause the video, go ahead and circle any more proper nouns that you can see there. It shouldn't take you very long. Okay, and when you come back, I'll just keep circling. There's quite a few proper nouns here. Alright, so you can pop your purple pencil down. Alrighty, we're going to look at a little note here. So some common nouns become proper nouns when they're used to name a particular person, place, or thing. So for example, the noun princess is a common noun. It's not written with a capital letter when it's not part of a particular name. For example, the dragon blew smoke at the princess. Do we know which princess in particular they're talking about? It could be anybody. The princess's name is not here, so it's a common noun. However, when you use this word as part of the particular name of a person, it becomes part of the proper noun and then it is written with a capital letter. So here you can see how it changes. It becomes the dragon blew smoke at Princess Elizabeth. So now you've got a capital P and a capital E because it's become part of her name. So other examples of this include, if you have an uncle, uncle's written with a lowercase letter. But if you're talking about your Uncle John, you're going to give that a capital U and a capital J. If you're talking about a mother, so it's non-specific mother, you don't know who you're talking about, could be anyone's mum, but if you're going to use it as the name of a particular person, like Mother Teresa, then you'd use a capital M and a capital T. So when you guys go to uni and you study, you might want to become a doctor or a professor. So if so, we'd get to call you Dr. Who. So then you'd get a capital D and a capital for the beginning of your name. So do you have an auntie or uncle or a grandma or a granddad? Maybe you could write them a card. Maybe you could write them a text message or something. And you could address it with the proper noun and the capital letters. So you'd have Dear Auntie Agatha. So capital A for Auntie and capital A for the person's name. Dear Uncle Cornelius. So noting that you've got, once again, capital letters here. Dear Grandad Django. Dear Grandma Norma. If you've ever read Harry Potter, you might remember Professor Snape. So keep an eye out in books that you read for proper nouns where people's names get capitals. And the descriptor in front of it. Okay, so we're going back to look at the book. We're going on a noun hunt. So we're going to see if we can find those common nouns and proper nouns in the book. So you need to grab out sheet 9. So go and grab that, and you're going to need just a normal pencil. Pause the video if you need to, and then come back. So remember, you can pause me at any time if you need a break from me. Totally understand. Okay, so we are going to just look at the first page and see if we can find a common noun. So we're going to write them down here. Elizabeth was a beautiful princess. There's a common noun there in that sentence. What is it? Elizabeth was a beautiful princess. Write it down here. Okay, so you should have written princess. Write that in if you need to. Okay, she lived in a castle and had expensive princess clothes. What's the other common noun there? She lived in a castle and had expensive princess clothes. Okay. Well done if you got castle. Okay. Now we're going to look at the proper nouns. So, remember proper nouns? So they're referring to a specific person in this case. So, let's look for the capital letter to give us a clue. Okay, so the proper noun here is what? Elizabeth was a beautiful princess. Who is the person? The person is Elizabeth, so you can write Elizabeth in there, the proper noun. She lived in a castle and had expensive princess clothes. There's no proper nouns there. She was going to marry a prince named Ronald. Is that a capital R? Yes, it is. So that is somebody's name. It's a proper noun, so we're going to write that underneath. We're going to write Ronald. Pause the video if you need to and write that in. Alrighty. So now we're just going to touch on noun groups. So we did this last term with your fabulous stories about Lucy Goosey. Do you remember how you described her? So you would have used some extra words to describe what she looked like, because we didn't want to just say she was a goose, because that's a bit boring. We wanted to make it more exciting. So you might have called her a beautiful goose. You might have called her a fluffy, cute goose. So when we put some adjectives in front and we're describing how the noun looks, then we call that a noun group. Okay, so here we go. Here is a picture of some ice cream. And I want to make it into a noun group, so I want to describe it. So I could say, instead of just saying boring old ice cream, I could say it was a yummy, cold ice cream. Okay, noun groups are not scary, they just make our writing more interesting. Alright, so authors use articles and adjectives to expand noun groups, to make them bigger and to make them more interesting, because no one wants to read boring stories. Alright, we're going to watch a video about noun groups.
About noun groups.
Here we go.
Do you remember the information you collected in your character profile? This information will help you write sentences that describe that character in a character description. Many of the words you wrote in your character profile were nouns. Do you remember what a noun is? Nouns are words we use to represent people, places, ideas, and things. Let's find some nouns in our character profile. Some words that represent people, places, and things. Prince, crown, uniform, horse, castle, dragons, sword, princess. To make nouns more interesting, we can expand the nouns into noun groups. A noun group is a group of words building on a noun. If we start with a noun, prince, castle, or crown, we can add an adjective to build meaning. Let's look at these nouns and see if we can build their meaning by thinking of adjectives to describe them. What sort of prince? The prince is handsome. What sort of castle? The castle is made of stone. What sort of crown? Golden, of course. So our noun, prince, becomes a noun group. Handsome prince. Stone castle, golden crown. Can you think of another adjective to add to the noun group? How about brave, handsome prince? Huge stone castle. Jewelled golden crown. Listen to the first noun group, brave, handsome prince. For us to use that in our writing, something is missing. Something at the beginning of the noun group. Something to introduce and place the noun group in the sentence where it belongs. Do you know a word that would fit at the beginning of a noun group to make it sound right? We could use a, an, or the. These words are called articles. Noun groups sometimes need an article if they are to sound right. The brave, handsome prince rode his horse, or a brave, handsome prince rode his horse. The huge stone castle. The jewelled golden crown. Any information you have collected in note form in a character profile can be expanded when you turn it into sentences. The best way to expand your sentences and make them interesting and full of information and detail for the reader is to add words to describe the noun. A young handsome prince dressed in shining armour fought the fierce and fiery dragon.
Okay, I apologise, this video is going for much longer than I thought, so I think you need a little bit of a wiggle and a jiggle. So I'd pause the video, maybe do a couple of star jumps or something, get some exercise out, get your wigglies out, and then come back. Okay, so we don't have too much more to do. We've just got some sentences to write. So remember, we were going to write 2 sentences about our alternative character. Okay, so you are going to use the, sorry, I'm going to do an example. Alright, so we've got a noun group here. Bossy, rude princess. So that's describing Elizabeth. So I need to put that into a sentence to make my sentence sound a bit more interesting. So I could say Elizabeth is a princess who demands the dragon to do tricks. But that could be boring, so I want to put in some extra words to make my sentence more exciting. So I've got Elizabeth is a bossy, rude princess who demands the dragon to do tricks. Okay, let's have another look at how else you could write that sentence. So I've got to use bossy, rude princess again. I don't want to start my sentence the same way. I'm trying to change it up. So here I've started the sentence with Elizabeth is. How else could I start my sentence? Think about our wow words and our openers, our VCOP posters in our room. What's a good opener that you could use? Have a little think. So I've gone with suddenly. So that's a bit different. Suddenly, the bossy, rude princess told the dragon to fly around the world. Okay, so that's my example of how I would put a noun group into a sentence. So you are going to write 2 sentences, just 2, about your character, so about Elizabeth, and we're describing her in the alternative fashion. Using the expanded noun groups provided, you need to check that your writing makes sense. You need to make sure you've got capital letters at the start and full stops at the end. Okay, so you've got a mean-hearted princess. You've got to put that into a sentence. Who is a mean-hearted princess? Elizabeth. So you could start it off with, Elizabeth is a mean-hearted princess who does what? Give me a little bit of extra stuff in your sentence. Okay? Or you could start it with an interesting opener. You don't need to start it with Elizabeth is. You could start it with suddenly. You could say one morning. You could say at last. Okay? Think of something interesting to open a sentence with. So, as long as it's got mean-hearted princess, capital letter, full stop in it, you've done a great job. The second sentence, you're going to need to put these words. An ugly, scowling face. Okay, so who has the ugly, scowling face? Princess Elizabeth. So you might want to start your sentence off with an easier option. Just go with Elizabeth has an ugly, scowling face. When did she scowl? At what point in the story? After the dragon has burnt all of her things. She looks pretty angry, because you'd be angry if someone burnt your castle down. Okay, so you need to pop that into a sentence. Up to you how you do it. I will be very proud of you no matter how you do it. Okay? Alright, that's all for today. I'm sorry it ran a little bit over. Really have been trying to keep it under half an hour. Anyway, I'll see you later, 1 p.m. All the best.